What is he even arguing about? Because it can't be that one play.
The aggressiveness there, even backed up in your territory.
I mean, first, that's a rude question to ask. If I think
Jerry Jeudy picked the absolute worst day to come at Shedeur Sanders. What started as harmless trash talk exploded into instant regret. Shadow didn't flinch, didn't back down. He shut it down with a calm that screamed confidence. Jeudy had no clue what kind of fire he was stepping into. He thought he was just starting a little verbal game, but he walked right into a storm he couldn't handle. See, Shedeur's been carrying way more than a season's pressure. He's been dragging the weight of constant doubt, injuries, and critics waiting for him to fail. Jeudy came in loud, acting like he was the alpha in the room, but Shadow's silence was louder than any trash talk. The man's been through too much to be rattled by cheap words. While Jeudy's emotions spilled all over the field, Shadow stood firm, locked in, and focused like someone who's already fought tougher battles and still came out standing tall. And let's be real, Shadow shouldn't even have to deal with this kind of nonsense from another player when his own coach keeps adding stress. Kevin Stefanski keeps trying to look bold at the wrong times and quiet when it actually matters. He calls risky plays that put Shadow in tight spots, then disappears when those plays backfire. And guess who gets blamed? Shadow, every single time. It's wild. This young man has to keep answering for decisions that ain't even his, facing criticism for mistakes that come from the sideline. Yet he still stands tall, defending the same team that sometimes forgets to defend him. That's leadership, raw and real.
Jerry Jeudy has found himself in some serious hot water yet another week. Now, last week we seen Jerry Jeudy fumble. You know what I'm saying? And, I didn't really want to go in on Jerry Jeudy because he liked that on the football field. But it was looking kind of spooky. Looked like he just did one of these. He just threw the ball. But I let that slide, dog. I let you slide. Now, today, I ain't the only one that noticed this. Now, Shedeur had a pass, right? Shedeur had a situation in the game where Jerry Jeudy looked like he went out on an out route or a post, one of those long routes, bruh.
Most players would have cracked under that kind of pressure, but not Shadow. So when Jeudy stepped up trying to clown him, he wasn't facing just a quarterback, he was facing a survivor, a fighter, someone who's been pushed, hit, doubted, and still gets up ready to go again. Jeudy didn't realize that until it was too late. And by then, the message was loud and clear. Shedeur Sanders doesn't fold, he dominates. Shadow Sanders has been through way more this season than people give him credit for. The pressure's insane, expectations sky high, the criticism nonstop, and the coaching? Man, the coaching hasn't made it any easier. Stefanski keeps calling plays that leave Shadow wide open for hits, never protecting his quarterback like he should. But through all that chaos, Shadow stays humble, calm, and laser-focused. No excuses, no drama, just quiet strength that shows what a real leader looks like. Meanwhile, Jerry Jeudy, he's letting his emotions run wild again. Everyone's seeing it now. It's not just one bad day. Every time the team needs him to lock in, he drifts. He misses routes, drops easy catches, and then throws those "it's not my fault" looks around like the cameras can't see what just happened. This man literally dropped a pass with zero pressure earlier in the season, and people tried to shrug it off, but it keeps happening. Now fans aren't buying it anymore. They're starting to realize the problem isn't Shadow's arm. It's Jeudy's focus. When a receiver runs a major route, trust matters. The quarterback's got to know you'll be where you're supposed to be. But with Jerry, it's always something. Missed timing, lazy energy, or confusion when the play's right in front of him. So when that route fell apart in front of everybody, fans didn't point fingers at Shedeur. They pointed straight at Jeudy. Shadow, on the other hand, just keeps fighting. Every week he's battling pressure, dodging sacks, and carrying the whole offense on his back while still trying to lift up the same teammates who keep making his job harder. Even when reporters try to bait him into blaming someone, he never takes it there. That's maturity, that's leadership, that's a young man built for the spotlight. It's wild that he's doing everything right. Reading the field, making clean throws, trusting his guys, and still getting let down by someone who's supposed to have his back.
Basically, it's kind of on me. It could be chemistry. Now, I'm further analyzing this damn play now after the fact, and it looked like Jerry Jeudy might have gave up on the play. Now, I'm not saying that he did or he didn't, but it looked real spooky, Jerry Jeudy, bro. You ain't had your arms out. You ain't had nothing. Looked like you was running half speed, dog. And you can't be going out like...
This isn't just about one route. It's about commitment, effort, and who's really showing up when it matters. Right now, Shedeur Sanders is carrying the entire load while Jerry Jeudy keeps making it heavier with sloppy mistakes, weak excuses, and zero awareness of how bad it looks. Every time Shedeur steps up to take responsibility for something that clearly isn't his fault, it exposes who the real leader is. That's heart right there. A quarterback protecting the locker room, protecting his teammates, even when their effort doesn't come close to matching his. He keeps giving Jerry the benefit of the doubt, talking about chemistry, timing, miscommunication, anything except what it really was. Let's be honest, it looked like a receiver who slowed down mid-play when the ball was already in the air. That's not chemistry, that's a lack of hustle. And it's frustrating to watch because Shedeur shouldn't have to carry that kind of burden. He's already dealing with pressure from the media, risky play calls, and a team that leans on him for everything. The man's out there fighting for every yard while still trying to cover for teammates who can't even finish a route at full speed. And here's the kicker. This ain't the first time. Jerry's been pulling this off and on act all season, and people are finally starting to connect the dots. Patterns don't lie. Even when players try to spin it with interviews or social posts, it's becoming obvious. Shedeur's effort is consistent, but the support around him? Not even close. Meanwhile, Kevin Stefanski keeps adding fuel to the fire with sloppy play calling and no accountability. If a receiver quits on a route, you fix it. You correct it or bench him. That's coaching 101. But Stefanski just lets it slide, then stands there looking confused when the offense crumbles again. Instead of protecting his young quarterback, he's tossing him into risky situations and expecting him to clean up everyone else's mess. Shedeur's trying to build chemistry with teammates who aren't even giving half his energy. It's unfair, it's exhausting, and it's why these moments look so bad on camera, not because of Shedeur, but because he's the only one doing everything right while surrounded by people who keep letting him down. Facts don't lie. Jerry flat out quit on that play. No arms up, no jump, no fight, nothing. It looked like he mentally checked out while the ball was still flying through the air. That's the kind of weak effort that turns a guaranteed touchdown into another wasted chance. Shedeur Sanders put that ball exactly where it needed to be. Pinpoint accuracy, perfect timing, and Jerry just stood there like he was running a slow drill at practice. When your quarterback delivers a dime like that, your job as a receiver is simple. Fight for it. Stretch out, jump high, reach for that ball like it's the game on the line. But Jerry didn't even give the bare minimum, and that's what makes it so embarrassing. Everyone watching saw it clear as day. Shedeur did his job perfectly, and Jerry didn't even show up. The analysts called it out because it was obvious. You can't hide that kind of laziness on film. And what makes this whole situation even worse? Shedeur still protects him after the play. He doesn't throw blame, doesn't snap in interviews. He stays calm, respectful, and professional even when the footage tells the full story. That's leadership right there. If Jerry had even tried on that route, even a little effort, it was an easy 6 points. But that's the nightmare Shedeur's dealing with week after week. Beautiful throws turning into missed opportunities because someone else doesn't finish the job.
Look. No arms. No, look like he gave up on the play.
Okay, Jerry. You know what I'm saying? That's tutty of you. You know what I'm saying? Listen to butter. That's tutty if you put your hands up a little bit. Maybe a little hands up action. Maybe a little jump a little smidge. That shit right there.
Look at that.
Look at that good. Look at that. Lineman out there making breakfast.
Got a block from Robinson going deep.
Yet Shedeur doesn't fold. He doesn't lose control. He keeps his composure, keeps leading the offense, and keeps showing maturity that most veterans don't even have. Meanwhile, Jerry keeps repeating the same lazy routes, same lack of awareness, same disappointment, and the analyst was right to call it out. The problem isn't the quarterback, it's the receiver who refuses to meet him halfway. Shedeur's too classy to say it outright, but his tone says everything. He's out there answering questions that are meant to trap him, feeling the disrespect behind them, and still responding with total poise. When he said, "It's a rude question," he wasn't just being polite, he was standing his ground. That reporter was clearly trying to bait him into throwing shade at his coach for those failed 4th and 1 calls, but Shedeur refused to take the bait. That's control. That's strength. They keep trying to corner Shedeur Sanders, pushing him to point fingers, spark drama, and take the fall for decisions that were never his to begin with. But Shedeur stays cool under pressure. He keeps his focus on the game, on competing, and on keeping the team together no matter what. That's what separates real leaders from the rest. He's protecting the locker room even when the locker room doesn't always protect him. And you can hear the exhaustion in his voice. He's tired of cleaning up after other people's mistakes, but he still takes the high road every single time. And let's talk about the Browns media for a second. What are they even doing? Instead of asking real questions, they're poking at the wrong person. Why are you grilling a young quarterback who's out there fighting for his life every Sunday when you should be pressing Kevin Stefanski for answers? Ask him why he keeps calling reckless plays deep in his own territory. Ask him why he keeps setting his quarterback up for danger and then acting like it's part of the plan. Why attack the player who executed perfectly instead of the coach who designed the mess? It's wild how the narrative always twists back on Shedeur. He's the one getting grilled for doing his job while Stefanski keeps skating away from accountability like nothing's wrong. That's not leadership. That's not protection. That's a young star being left out in the open while the people who should be guiding him keep ducking responsibility. And through it all, Shedeur stands tall. No cheap shots, no bitterness, just calm, discipline, and professionalism way beyond his age. He keeps doing his part, week after week, even when others don't. It's about time the coach and the media start doing their jobs too. Because in the end, Jeudy's lazy effort and Stefanski's wild play calls only prove one thing. Shedeur Sanders is the only one in Cleveland who's truly holding it down. Shedeur's the glue holding the Browns together. And that's the real story people don't want to admit. Every week, he walks into chaos, does his job with precision, and still ends up carrying blame that should have never touched his name. That's not just unfair, it's ridiculous. You can tell he's the one keeping that locker room from falling apart, even while Stefanski's decisions keep pushing the team closer to breaking. And it's crazy how clear it's become. Shedeur's composure is saving Cleveland's reputation right now. Imagine if he snapped. Imagine if he started exposing the truth in those press conferences. The whole organization would be in flames, but he won't, because that's not who he is. He's too disciplined, too focused on building something real. Instead of throwing people under the bus, he keeps driving it forward, even when everyone else seems asleep at the wheel. Meanwhile, Jeudy's out here looking more distracted than ever.
The aggressiveness there, even backed up in your territory?
I mean, first, that's a rude question to ask. If I think, it was a great call by my coach.
Now, my job, bro. This is Cleveland media asking him this. Now, y'all see what I be talking about. And Tony Grossi asked some stupid-ass questions, too.
You like the aggression. Like you like the call. Like, do you like
I like being out there playing.
Thank you, Shedeur.
so whatever that comes with, it comes with. We're not going to be here and
His roots are sloppy, his energy off, and his attitude just screams frustration. Fans are watching it unfold and wondering, how long is Shedeur supposed to carry this man? Because no matter how calm Shedeur stays, there's only so much one player can do when the pieces around him keep falling apart. And then there's Stefanski, still pretending like everything's fine, still making the same reckless play calls that put his young quarterback at risk, then standing on the sideline with that same blank stare when it all falls apart. It's beyond frustrating. Real leadership means owning your mistakes, not hiding behind your players' composure. But Stefanski just keeps letting Shedeur clean up the mess while he keeps dodging accountability. The truth is simple. The Browns don't have a quarterback controversy, they have a support problem. The talent is there, the leadership is there, but the protection and trust, nowhere to be found. And every game, every drive, it's becoming clearer that Shedeur's the one holding the whole operation together with pure willpower. It's time the organization wakes up and gives him the structure he deserves, because if they keep wasting his potential, the rest of the league will be ready to take him the moment Cleveland drops the ball again. Instead, he's having to fight them. Shedeur Sanders is exposing what happens when a veteran refuses to handle adversity like a pro. He's exposing what happens when a team's so-called leaders can't keep their emotions in check, while the youngest guy in the room stays calm and focused. It's wild to think that the rookie's showing more maturity than players who've been in the league for years. And now everyone's watching. The fans, the analysts, even rival teams, they all see it. They see that the issue isn't talent, it's discipline, effort, and accountability. They see Shedeur stepping up, keeping the team from imploding while Stefanski just stands by like it's not his job to fix it. This isn't just a few bad games. This is a full-on culture problem that's been allowed to grow right under the coach's nose. When a quarterback's forced to play babysitter to veterans who don't want to take responsibility, that's a sign the locker room's upside down. It's supposed to be the coach setting the tone, holding players to standards, and keeping the team united, but right now it's Shedeur doing all of that by himself. He's setting the example with every snap, every press conference, every moment he chooses class over chaos. Meanwhile, Stefanski's running out of excuses. Everyone sees the pattern now. Reckless calls, weak accountability, and no protection for the guy holding it all together. You can't keep hiding behind the rookie learning curve when your rookie's the one leading by example. Shedeur's been tested every week, thrown into situations that would have broken most young players, and he's still standing tall, still leading, still proving that he's built for the spotlight. The question now is simple. Will Stefanski finally step up and fix what's broken, or keep pretending everything's fine while his locker room cracks in front of the whole league? Because this isn't something that'll fade away quietly. The cameras are rolling and the fans are paying attention. Shedeur's done his part. He's earned respect, carried the weight, and proven he's not just the future of Cleveland. He's the present. Now it's on the coach to match that energy or step aside. Because one thing's for sure, Shedeur Sanders isn't waiting around for anyone to catch up. Shedeur Sanders is the heartbeat of this entire team. He's the one carrying Cleveland with pure leadership, toughness, and poise that can't be taught. Every snap, every interview, every tough moment. He proves why he's built different. You can see it in how he handles pressure, how he lifts the people around him, and how he refuses to let the chaos break his focus. That's rare, especially in a league where players crack the moment things get tough. While others keep finding themselves in hot water, Shedeur keeps rising above it all, calm, confident, and locked in on the bigger picture. He's not just playing quarterback, he's setting a standard for what leadership looks like in Cleveland. And if the Browns don't start protecting him better, they're gonna realize too late that they're risking the one player holding everything together. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you on the next one. Do you think the Browns need to protect Shedeur better before things get worse?